Hey team, it's Les. Thanks for joining me today for another CHOT training minute. Today we continue to talk about the CAHPS questions, and let's get right back into it. So the question today we're going to tackle again deals with communication. It is question 9 on that survey, and it states, while your family member was in hospice care, how often did the hospice team, remember, that's all of us, right? Everybody that cares for that patient. How often did the hospice team keep you informed about your family member's condition? So, how often did you receive communication? Were you kept in the loop? Did we have that constant communication of things that have changed or just a status update on that patient? So, here's some pointers, some best practices for making sure that the answer to this question that they pick is always, right? We always want them to select that answer. So, first of all, identify that most involved person from the very beginning, from that first meeting. Identify who that most involved person is, who that person who is going to be kind of the conduit for all the communication. Typically, there's one, sometimes there's two of those people, but the most involved person is the person that we've identified that's actually going to be sitting down. Remember, the patient isn't going to be answering this survey. This is after the patient's already flown away on us. And this is the person that's going to sit down with that survey and answer it. So we need to identify that person from the very beginning. And then we need to find out what their expectations are for updates. Now, I've had people that wanted to only be contacted when there was a change in condition. I've had people that only wanted to be contacted when their loved one or their family member died. And we have to remember that if people want that little communication, we need to respect that because we don't know what's gone on all the way up to the point where this person is on hospice. Unfortunately, sometimes there's situations where there's estrangement, and sometimes that can be bridged, and sometimes it can't be. We need to be respectful of what their expectations are. There are also people that expect a phone call every visit, and we need to meet those expectations as well. So once we've identified what their expectations are for communication, whether it's, they're going to be at the visits or they're not going to be at the visits, and we're going to call them immediately after the visit, we need to respect those things, and then we need to create a communication schedule with that most involved person so that the expectations are clear, the parameters are clear, how we're going to contact them is clear, whether it's going to be a phone call, an in-person visit if they're going to be at our visits, or text messages sometimes might be okay with that family member. With texting, we need to be careful, obviously, that we know who we're texting, and any of that PHI is guarded as well. So phone calls are really ideal. And also with phone calls, there's something that gets lost in text, right? There's things that can be miscommunicated or misinterpreted, where a phone call, at least, person to person, is always the number one way to do it. But a phone call, at least, you get to hear someone's voice and hear the tone of their voice and how they're explaining something or how they're updating someone. So, but make sure to create that schedule, whatever that looks like, with that most involved person. And then finally, stick to the plan. When we say we were going to do something, we got to do it. So if the plan is after every visit on Tuesday morning, we call the caregiver, the most involved person, if they're not there, and give them a status update and let them know what's changing and what we see, the conversations that we may have had, if we're working on particular areas of the plan of care. And this goes for every discipline, right? We need to stick to that plan. If that's the plan, then that's what we do. Unless something changes with the most involved person and what they want, and then you make those changes. But identify the most involved person right off the bat, find out what their expectations for communication and updates are, create a schedule with them, so that they know, hey, I know every Tuesday morning around 11 o'clock after mom's visit, I'm going to get a call from the nurse or the social worker, the spiritual care coordinator, or the aide if there's an update from the aide, right? And then once we've created that schedule, stick to it and make sure you do it. All right? That's what we've got today. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, email me at lharp@chot.org or click me at Les Harp. Thanks for everything you do every day for our patients, our families, our facilities, and finally for one another. Hope you all have a great day.